The sounds of the following spelling alphabet words transmit well, even in poor communication conditions. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, the world's alphabetical Wilco podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and I'm with my buddy, Kevin.
What up?
And we are going to give you a twofer on this episode.
Two for the price of one.
Two for the price. You guys paid a very good price to get a double show on this episode. We're going to be covering 23 Seconds of Silence and a magazine called Sunset, which is a beautiful song. Kevin, you love this song, don't you?
I do. I think it. I got things to say for once we get to that. I think we need to do our due diligence and be thorough and complete, and we need to talk about 23 Seconds of Silence first, though. Because if I start talking about a magazine called Sunset, I'm gonna gush. I'm gonna talk about what a luscious pop song it is. I'm gonna talk about how it speaks to the depth of Jeff's and Jay's songwriting in the Yankee Hotel Foxtrot era. And see, I'm already doing it. I'm talking about the song.
Pontificating!
We got to pay our dues, though. We got to pay our dues with 23 Seconds of Silence.
But go ahead.
Sorry. No, you go ahead.
I want to clarify that Kevin fought for this song to be the second official episode because he has a very valid argument as to why alphabetically this song would come after 23 Seconds of Silence as opposed to what was the one that we thought first that I thought Ain't Gonna Grieve.
Ain't gonna grieve. It's ain't
gonna
grieve, one word.
Oh, you're right. Ain't
gonna grieve. So besides the fact that I think to launch the podcast, getting a shot in the arm in a magazine called Sunset is a stronger opening than a Mermaid Avenue Volume 3 song that even the band probably doesn't remember. Truthfully, I would say this. If we were ranking bands, the top 500 greatest bands of all time, we would categorize Beatles under B. We would categorize White Stripes under W because they're Beatles That's how you'd categorize that song title. Movies, books do the same thing with them. However, and album titles too. But with songs, to me, I've never seen someone categorize a magazine called Sunset as magazine called Sunset. The title is still a magazine called Sunset. So that to me means it shouldn't be under the M's. It should just be up in the A's. If you disagree with us, what's our email address?
abcwilco.com. Also, if you go to our email address is abcwilco@gmail.com. If you want to leave us a voicemail, you can go to abcwilco.com. But either way, you can reach us and let us know you disagree, and we can talk about it. But this is the episode order that we're going with, and I agree with Kevin.
At this point, it's too late. So the joke explained is going to be a T episode, not a J episode. But if you feel passionately that we're making the wrong call, you can send us an email. And if you sway our opinions, we will not change anything, but we will acknowledge it, and we will be really sad with ourselves.
I'm totally with you on this because it makes complete sense the way you explained it. I never would have thought of that myself, but hey, you're the expert here. So let's listen to 23 Seconds of Silence real fast. Before we start the song, though, I do want to say that interesting thing about 23 Seconds of Silence is the very beginning is not silent at all. The track prior to that on the album, I don't know what. Let me look at what that is. It plays for a little bit into this. Let me.
In a future age.
In a future age, yeah. So there's a little bit of a little. Oh no, Candy Floss. Candy. Wait, no. No, in a future age. You're right. It plays a little bit into the song, so it's not technically 23 seconds of silence. It's about 22 seconds of silence if we want to get real picky about it. But here we go. Oh, it didn't do it there. Holy shit! I wonder if that was something that was happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta be honest, and I mean this is great because clearly we don't rehearse this.
Yeah.
This show. I know, shocking. I know. I have no idea what you're talking about. Though to be fair, I originally compiled the first version of our song list. I did not include 23 Seconds of Silence. You pointed that out. I don't really think about 23 Seconds of Silence because it's a product of the CD era. And I don't really, I can't even tell you where my CD copy of Summerteeth is from. Essentially, though, if you don't know what we're talking about, the album Summerteeth, and we'll get. I have things to say about this in probably starting with the A Shot in the Arm episode and continuing into the Can't Stand It episode. But there was some studio malarkey going on. Not studio, some record label malarkey going on with that album, resulting in the first pressings being a 14-song album, starting with Can't Stand It, ending with In a Future Age. Later pressings on CD, and which have followed to the vinyl pressings, have two bonus tracks, which is Candy Floss and the remix of A Shot in the Arm. Separating those two songs is a track called 23 Seconds of Silence. So technically, if we're being thorough with this list of Wilco songs, and we are thorough, we do need to include this because it is a title of a track.
Yeah.
It's not a song. We could make jokes. I had jokes prepared where I was going to say, my favorite part is the part that goes like this. But I'm not going to do that. So if the one notable thing I would say about it is a lot of bands, when they're doing their track listing, would just not even title that. It would just be untitled or something like that. Mm-hmm. 23 Seconds of Silence
makes it a song.
Yeah, and it gives it a little bit of creativity to something that is literally nothing.
I included it in the list where you had it absent for a couple of reasons. One, the internet being what it is, I didn't want this early in the podcast for us to be roasted as not being...
Episode 2.
Yeah, not being complete. Like, no, they skipped over a song alphabetically, technically. I didn't want that to happen. Also, because the internet being what it is, I thought it would be a funny joke to add in here. Technically, you guys have listened to this song a few times now while we've been talking about it. But that's why this song is on here. It's not a song. I guess the sound that I was saying happened at the beginning must just be when you're listening to the album straight through. So
yeah, the fade out of the just maybe the way the CD's encoded. But yeah, I have strong feelings about some of the things about Summerteeth that were what I was talking about, the label malarkey. But we'll save that for a different day. If anyone tuned into this episode, they did not tune in for 23 Seconds of Silence. They tuned in to hear a real deep cut song that probably should have been on an album at some point, but wasn't. A magazine called Sunset. Do I have your permission to start gushing about this song?
Absolutely. You want me to play the song while you gush, or do you want to gush before?
Yeah, you know what? We're far into the episode. Let's play the song.
Here we go. Little fun fact: I've seen this song live every time I've seen Wilco.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. I don't know how that's... I'm not saying I don't believe you. I do believe you.
You know,
that is a statistical anomaly.
It's... I did not know that before researching just what songs I had seen live in preparation for this podcast. But on setlist.com, if you go through the shows I've been to, it's been played at every one. So it's not like a fact that I had. You have your spreadsheet where you keep track of what they played live.
Well, I didn't want to admit that publicly for fear of looking like a huge nerd. I'm just trying to see how many times I've heard this song live. I've only heard the song once live.
Oh,
and it was Jeff Tweedy's solo version. I've never seen Wilco play this song. So we have seen the same shows though. So one of us has to be
you know what? When I searched that, I searched where I live at, but we saw them together at Solid Sound, which is not where I live. So you know what? You're probably right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
And you know
makes
what? I've seen them in Kentucky, and I've seen them in Illinois, and I've seen them in Virginia also. So I maybe not there also. So my apologies. I'm inaccurate there.
But every time you've seen them in a hometown show, they play a magazine called Sunset.
Apparently.
I do feel like while the song's playing, we should talk about
Yeah, let's do that.
part of what the song sounds like. To me, this is as probably with Candy Floss up there as the poppiest Wilco songs. I feel like in a different era, a song this catchy could have been a hit single.
Yeah.
Strangely, in the year 2001, 2002, not only is it not a hit single, it's not a single, it's not even on the album.
Yeah.
Which, like I was hinting at before, I think really speaks to the insane depth of Jeff Tweedy's songwriting in this era, along with Jay Bennett.
Yeah, some of their best songs are their B-sides.
Yeah, and a song like this, any other band would have written this song and been like, oh, this is one of our better songs, we have to include it on the album. But Jeff Tweedy, whether it was Jeff Tweedy, whether it was Jay Bennett, whether it was Jim O'Rourke, who mixed the album, kind of came in the late stages, wisely looked at it and thought this song would not fit with the rest of the songs. And I imagine that
remind me what era this would have happened in.
So actually, I'm glad you asked that, because I went down a bit of a rabbit hole trying to get some actual details on where and when this song originated from. So originally, this song was released on an EP called the Australia EP, which essentially was a bonus disc to Yankee Hotel Foxtrot in Australia. I don't know if it was sold in stores or if that was just maybe on the Australian leg of the tour. But eventually that same EP got rebranded and distributed more widely as the More Like the Moon EP. And eventually all of those songs ended up on Alpha Mike Foxtrot. So if you want to hear the song today, the easiest way is the Alpha Mike Foxtrot box set.
That's not what I was asking.
Rabbit hole. Follow me here. Follow me through the rabbit hole. It is a Yankee Hotel Foxtrot era. It is the era between Yankee Hotel Foxtrot and A Ghost Is Born. Now, this is where I went down the rabbit hole, because the credits for the Australia EP on the Wilco World website, which of course is never wrong, lists this song as recorded in 2002. Jay Bennett left the band in 2001. However, this song is in the movie I Am Trying to Break Your Heart, sounding very similar to the version that we just listened to, which means it must have been recorded in 2001. There's also, the songwriting is credited just to Jeff, but if the website Glorious Noise talks about, they have an article from a number of years ago talking about Jay Bennett's contributions to Wilco, and according to them, on ASCAP, which is like the Association of American Songwriters, where they register their songs basically, this song, Jay does have some credit on the song as a songwriter. So where most of the More Like the Moon EP ended up as I think post Yankee Hotel Foxtrot recording, pre A Ghost Is Born, I believe this song to be from the Yankee Hotel Foxtrot recording sessions. That was very long, and I apologize.
No, I'm happy you did that, because I answered my question very clearly.
Lost interest in this. It's also, there is it's all bootleg, so I cannot officially recommend finding this stuff. There is some really good Yankee Hotel Foxtrot demos called the Engineer demos, and this song, there's a few different versions in there of this. So I feel safe saying that this is a Yankee Hotel Foxtrot era recording. Maybe they just finished up the mix during the More Like the Moon EP recording sessions, because that's where the songs like Bob Dylan's Beard and More Like the Moon, the song, comes from. But this song, I think, almost certainly originates from the Yankee Hotel recording sessions.
Yeah, and this, I feel like what you're saying, it fits, but this song, you know how on a previous episode I was talking about how I'm the Man Who Loves You kind of reminds me of the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
This song has the organ like from Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, or it has that organ that they would use in the Beatles, and it always, whenever I hear this song, I think of that era of the Beatles when I'm listening to this one. Yeah.
It's definitely a pop song. I think you could easily go back to those session recordings from Yankee Hotel Foxtrot and put together a whole alternate version of the album that's much more poppy, probably much more like the label would have originally wanted. But Jeff had his vision. I always kind of got the feeling like I think Jay gets labeled incorrectly as because he was a bit of a studio wizard, and I think the general impression a lot of people have is that Jay wanted to add noise and noise and noise to this record. But the feeling I've got from interviews and from statements he made is that I think he was envisioning a record more like a magazine called Sunset, with like that's poppier and catchier than anything else on the record, outside of maybe Heavy Metal Drummer, maybe I'm the Man Who Loves You.
I'm glad that didn't happen. I cannot imagine Yankee Hotel Foxtrot being anything besides. I love this magazine, a magazine called Sunset, but I cannot imagine not having Yankee Hotel Foxtrot in the form that I have it in. So I'm glad that he didn't get his way on that.
Well, and I mean, obviously, Jay's been gone for 11 years now, and I don't want to put words in his mouth that maybe he didn't exactly say. That's just always the sentiment I've got from just piecing together various things that he'd said in the years after he left the band. But it is, and you're right. We had a poppy Wilco record before Yankee Hotel Foxtrot with Summerteeth. So I like the variety, and we have the kind of classic rock record with Being There. We have the Beach Boys Beatle-esque summer good vibes record with Summerteeth, and then we have the kind of messed up acoustic folky record with Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. I think that's a good balance across 3 albums and a good path of songwriting and production growth.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but those are pretty much my thoughts on this album. I mean, you were the one with the heavy thoughts on this song, but do you have anything else you want to say, or do you want to close this one out and move on to the next one?
Yeah, we can close this one out. I think it's a fun song. It's a song that if you're a listener, maybe you're just a casual listener of Wilco, and for some reason you're listening to the ABCs of Wilco, totally forgivable, understandable if you don't know this song. But I think this is a part of what made me fall in love with this band was not just the album tracks, was the songs outside of the album. And I'm lucky that the alphabet worked out for us in the way that it did, that we got to shine a light on a non-album track of this quality this early in the run.
Yeah, this great song. We're going to be covering A Shot in the Arm in the next episode. Kevin, do you have anything you want to promote?
Yeah, follow me on the Instagrams. My Instagram handle is Kevin Vinyl. Very original, I know. That's where I post nice shots of my turntable and what's on my turntable, and in the brief comments that they'll allow you to make on Instagram, I write about what I like, what I'm listening to. So if you want some non-Wilco recommendations, that's where I would send you.
You can find my stuff on Instagram at Hess's Best, and you can find all of our links by going to abcwilco.com, where you can shoot us an email at abcwilco@gmail.com, or you can leave us a voicemail on abcwilco.com. But yeah, that's everything we have for this episode, and we'll see you again when we cover A Shot in the Arm.